day everyone, by the way, I am Dexter P. Pirote, and at this juncture, I'll be going to discuss about the types of performance assessment. As what the speaker said a while ago or earlier, that performance-based assessments share the key characteristic of accurately measuring one or more specific core standards. Performance-based assessments have recently experienced a re-emergence in education literature and curricula. It is an ongoing process that helps us, future educators, uncovers our future students or our future learners' ability to think critically and reason. Teachers are able to adapt their own practice according to students' performance. Thus, students learn from the assessments process and develop skills of self-evaluation. So, performance-based learning and assessments promotes a process of a continuous learning and improvement. At this juncture, I will now share to you and discuss the types of performance-based assessment. So number one is restricted and extended response. When we talk about restricted type task, it is narrowly defined and require a brief responses and task that is structured and specific. In terms of restricted response tasks, it is sometimes that the question may begin like a multiple choice or short answer stem, but then ask for an explanation, justification, and etc. And sometimes restricted type tasks may have introductory material like an interpretative exercise, but then ask for an explanation of the answer, not just the answer itself. So some examples of the restricted response are construct a bar graph from data provided, read an article from the newspaper and answer questions, or flip a coin 10 times, then predict what the next 10 flips of the coin will be and explain why. Also, some examples of the restricted response is listen to the evening news on television, explain if you believe the stories are biased. And also, construct a circle, square, and a triangle from provided materials that have the same circumference. On the other hand, when we talk about extended type tests, it is complex, elaborate, and time-consuming. It is often include collaborative work with small group of students. It requires the use of a variety of information. These questions allow students to write a response that arrives at a conclusion based on their specific knowledge of the topic. An extended response item takes considerable time and thought. It requires students not only to give an answer, but also to explain the answer with as much in-depth detail as possible. Furthermore, for extended type tasks, the activities for a single assessment may be multiple and varied, which means it is gather data or information, analyze it, and write a report. Aside from that, the activities may extend over a period of time, which means it is a series of drafts and revisions. Additionally, products from different situations may be different in focus, such as different forms of music, different research topics, and etc. So, some examples of the extended type test or response are the following. Design a playhouse and estimate cost of materials and labor. Plan a trip to other country, include the budget and itinerary and justify why you want to visit certain places. Another one is conduct a historical reenactment. For example of this is impeachment trial of Arab. The next one is diagnose and repair a car problem. And lastly, design an advertising campaign for a new or existing product. So again, extended type test, it requires students not only to give an answer, but also to explain the answer with as much in-depth detail as possible. So it is complex, elaborate, and time-consuming. At this juncture, we will now proceed to the second type of the performance-based assessment, which is the process and product-oriented. According to the previous speaker, that the performance-based assessment is a set of strategies for the acquisitions and application of knowledge, skills, and work habits through the performance of tasks that are meaningful and engaging to students. For the process and product oriented, the performance based assessment is a measure of assessment based on authentic tasks such as activities, exercises, or problems that require students to show what they can do. Some performance tests are designed to have students demonstrate their understanding by applying their knowledge to a particular situation. So, the question is, when did we know if the process and product are being emphasized? So, one or both may be assessed, no? Depending on the learning outcome and stage of instruction. For the process-oriented, good procedure or good process is emphasized when there is no product and the procedure is orderly and direct observable. And another one is correct procedure is crucial or is very imperative to later success. And lastly, analysis of procedural steps can aid or help in improving the product. In contrast, for the product-oriented, when did we know if the product is being emphasized? So take note for this. Good product is emphasized when different procedures in an result in an equally good product. So again, good product is emphasized when different procedures result in an equally good product. The next one, it is emphasized when procedure is not available for observation or procedural steps have been mastered. And lastly, good product is emphasized when product has qualities that can be identified and judged because in product, it is the stage of evaluating and assessing. So before we proceed to the continuation of the different types of this performance-based assessment is that in a classroom setting, these types of performance-based assessment is very pivotal for the enhancing and building the assessment effectively and efficiently because through performance-based assessment, it shares the key characteristic of accurately measuring one or more specific course standards. They are also complex, authentic, process or product-oriented, open-minded, and time-bound. So at this juncture, I will now give the virtual floor to our next speaker. So I hope you learned something for our discussion and always remember that padayon lang ta future educators. So stay safe and dalago ng Diyos sa kanunay.